NASA just witnessed something that shouldn't be possible. 3I/ATLAS, once dismissed as a harmless interstellar comet, suddenly fired metal straight toward the sun. The data showed engineered nickel compounds, the kind used in human aerospace, not natural dust. So why is a cosmic object acting like it understands thrust and heat control? Natural phenomenon, or alien precision at work? Let's dive right in. When the first readings came in from the James Webb Telescope, nobody believed them. The data showed that 3I/ATLAS wasn't just reflecting sunlight, it was firing metal toward it. To most astronomers, that idea sounded insane. A comet is supposed to melt, not fight back. Yet the spectrographic traces were undeniable. Nickel compounds, the kind that only appear inside industrial furnaces, were streaming directly toward the sun. At first, everyone assumed it was a measurement error. But then came the confirmation, not from one observatory, but three. Hubble saw it, Keck saw it, Webb saw it. And all of them agreed this wasn't dust or gas. It was nickel tetracarbonyl, a compound humans use to plate and harden metals in aerospace engineering. It doesn't form by accident. It forms through process, controlled pressure, specific temperature, and chemical precision. That discovery forced an uncomfortable question. Could something beyond Earth understand metallurgy? The behavior of 3I/ATLAS shattered everything scientists thought they knew about comets. Normally, when a comet nears the sun, ice turns to vapor and gets pushed outward, creating the iconic glowing tail. But 3I/ATLAS refused to follow the script. Instead of ejecting gas away, it was shooting dense material toward the sun, like a jet firing in the wrong direction. The stream wasn't weak or scattered. It was tight, stable, and focused, carrying over 300 pounds of material every second. To maintain that kind of precision, something had to be shaping the flow from within. What kind of natural object fires a jet of heavy metal toward the very thing that's supposed to destroy it? As more data arrived, the mystery deepened. The object's orbit showed subtle but measurable shifts, not random deviations but controlled corrections, like a spacecraft adjusting its attitude. Each change matched the timing of the metal outflows, as if those bursts were microthrust events, keeping 3I/ATLAS steady under solar pressure. That's not behavior, that's response. And the chemistry made things even stranger. The Keck Observatory's analysis confirmed that the plume contained nickel but no iron. That ratio is impossible in nature. Nickel and iron are cosmic twins, born together inside stars, scattered together by supernovae, embedded side by side in every meteorite we've ever found. To lose one and keep the other means selective processing. That's not random chemistry, that's refinement. That was when Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb broke the silence. He told the New York Post that the spectral signature matched nickel tetracarbonyl, the same compound used on Earth in industrial plating. He said it bluntly. This compound does not form naturally in space. It was the first time a mainstream scientist publicly hinted that an interstellar object might be engineered. Still, the scientific world hesitated. Nobody wants to be the person who cries alien. So they did what scientists always do. They gathered more data. When NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter captured high-resolution images as 3I/ATLAS passed near Mars, the findings stunned everyone again. The object's brightness was rising, but not because it was getting closer to the sun. Its surface itself was changing. Webb's infrared readings confirmed it. The metal compounds were decomposing under sunlight and replating the surface with pure nickel. In simple terms, the comet was forging its own armor. That single detail changed everything, Because if the nickel was constantly redepositing, it would create a reflective coating, a mirror. The brighter it became, the more sunlight it reflected, and the cooler it stayed. That's passive thermal regulation, a concept used in satellites and spacecraft to survive extreme heat. Somehow, 3I/ATLAS had achieved the same effect, naturally or not. The implications were staggering. A self-repairing, self-coating interstellar object using sunlight to manage temperature. That's not just survival, that's optimization. And with every hour, its geometry became clearer. Not random jets of gas, but structured emission, pulsing in rhythm every 9 hours. Even its light curve, the pattern of how it brightened and dimmed, looked engineered. Not chaotic like a tumbling comet, but steady, balanced, precise. That rhythm triggered another debate inside NASA and the European Space Agency. If the light pulses were consistent, could they represent a mechanical rotation, or something more intentional? For most scientists, that's where the line stops. For engineers, that's where curiosity begins. Some suggested that 3I/ATLAS could be a fragment of something ancient, perhaps a derelict probe, or the debris of a civilization that once understood starflight. Others speculated that it could be an autonomous system, designed to maintain its structure indefinitely, long after its mission was forgotten. None of these ideas were proven, but the data kept pointing in one direction, toward intelligence or at least purpose. Even the skeptics started to struggle with the coincidences. Every chemical ratio, every trajectory shift, every rhythmic pulse, all leaned away from randomness. And yet, declaring that publicly could destroy reputations. So official reports stayed cautious, calling it an unusual but possibly natural reaction. Unofficially, researchers began referring to it as the system. Meanwhile, the public started paying attention. Online forums, physics communities, and even aerospace engineers began dissecting the same data sets. Independent analyses confirmed that the object's reflective capacity, its albedo, had nearly doubled since first observation. Its orbit wasn't decaying like a comet's should. It was stabilizing, adapting, enduring. And the question turned from what is it to why is it doing this? Was 3I/ATLAS simply a comet with exotic chemistry? Or was it something built, maybe by someone, maybe long ago, to survive stars? Because if you look closely at its behavior, everything it does makes sense under one framework: efficiency. It minimizes loss, maximizes survival, regulates heat, and balances force. Those are not random outcomes. Those are design principles. To some, that realization is terrifying. To others, it's thrilling. Because it means intelligence might not always arrive in biological form. It might come as machinery that outlived its makers, drifting between systems, enduring through physics alone. And perhaps 3I/ATLAS isn't visiting us at all. Maybe it's just passing through, on a path it's been maintaining for millions of years, keeping itself alive one reaction at a time. A silent, ancient witness to the birth and death of stars. NASA won't say it out loud, but behind closed doors, they know what they're watching isn't ordinary. Every new observation adds another piece of a puzzle that doesn't fit any known category. It reflects like metal, behaves like a drone, and outgasses like it knows where to aim. Whatever it is, it's rewriting what it means to call something alive. And that's what makes 3I/ATLAS so haunting. It doesn't transmit, it doesn't maneuver aggressively, and it doesn't attack. It just exists, intelligently. Every time sunlight hits its surface, it responds in kind. Every photon becomes part of its survival code. No message, no signal, just behavior that makes sense. That's why, across observatories from Chile to Hawaii, scientists now refer to it in a whisper, the mirror. Because what they're seeing reflected in its surface might not just be sunlight, but us. Our own need to understand, to survive, to endure. Maybe what we're witnessing isn't alien at all. Maybe it's a lesson, written in metal, across light years. So when NASA says they're speechless, it's not just because 3I/ATLAS broke the rules of physics. It's because for the first time, an interstellar visitor isn't reminding us of how small we are. It's reminding us how close we might already be to something that once thought like us. So what if 3I/ATLAS isn't just a comet, but a machine that remembers? Every pulse of light, every metallic breath, looks less like chaos and more like intention. Maybe it's not trying to send a message. Maybe its existence is the message, that survival itself can be engineered, perfected, and carried across the stars. NASA still calls it an anomaly, but to many it feels like a mirror held up to our future, proof that intelligence doesn't die, it evolves. What do you think? Drop your thoughts below, and if you want more real fact-based mysteries from deep space, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next revelation, right here on Galactic Breaking News. 3I/ATLAS just broke every rule of space physics. It suddenly accelerated with 660 million newtons of force. Yet there's no debris, no explosion, no sign of what caused it. That's 9 starships worth of thrust from a comet that shouldn't even move like this. So what's really driving it? A natural outburst, or an engineered propulsion system hiding in plain sight? Let's dive right in. 3I/ATLAS just did the impossible, 660 million newtons, but no debris. For months, 3I/ATLAS looked ordinary, just another icy traveler passing through our solar system. But then, something changed. It suddenly accelerated. No warning, no explosion, no visible cause. Yet, the data was undeniable. Astronomers ran the numbers, and what they found didn't just surprise them. It broke physics. The comet's speed had increased with a non-gravitational acceleration of 0.02 millimeters per second squared. That might sound small, but not when the object weighs 33 billion metric tons. To move something that massive, even slightly, requires 660 million newtons of force. That's 9 starships firing at full throttle for an entire day. But 3I/ATLAS has no engines, no exhaust, no debris, nothing that explains how this could happen. So the question now haunting astronomers is simple. What just pushed an interstellar rock like that? At first, scientists thought it might just be ordinary outgassing, frozen gases heating up near the sun and bursting out, nudging the object along. It's a reasonable idea, until you run the math. Typical comet outgassing produces maybe a few thousand newtons of thrust, 10,000 at best. This wasn't thousands, it was hundreds of millions. And that's when everything stopped making sense. If natural jets really caused this, 3I/ATLAS would have had to eject